can call this the New World Order of Wrestling, brother.
Break the wall, break down the walls. Andre, the Giant.
Ooh, yeah. To be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, woo!
You do not throw rocks at a man who's got a machine gun.
Give me that hell yeah.
And I got something to talk about.
I am going to be the first champion to win the Royal Rumble and choose the competitor of my choosing to main event.
Big Papa Pump, it's your hookup. Holler if you hear me.
It is now time for Ring the Bell Radio, a wrestling podcast.
It's the most erotic thing I've ever seen.
And hello, everybody out there in podcast land. JD here, and why not? You're listening to Ring the Bell Radio, a wrestling podcast. King, you're never going to believe this news. You know, you got to turn your microphone on first. I can't do everything for you.
Listen, it is hard being me. I have so much stuff going on, so many things to talk about. So just get on with it. What do you have to tell me?
But before you could give your proper introduction to the audience, Barris isn't here again.
Oh God, what do he do now?
He's in hospital again.
Oh God, what has he got now?
Something he told me something with his eyes. He didn't exactly tell me what, but he's back in hospital, so can't really make fun of him too much, you know. So
I think something with my eyes is code for weekend bender, and they had to rehydrate me at the hospital because that's happened before with him.
They have to put the banana bag on him. Yeah. You know. So we have a guest with us this evening, but I'll introduce him in a minute. But I know unless you get to do your proper introduction and say hello to your fans, which there's about 4 or 5 of them out there, I know you get crabby and grumpy and you start yelling at me and you fire people around here. So, okay, King Logan, the king of all wrestling, the king of wishful thinking, the king of this podcast, Ring the Bell Radio, the king of kings in his own mind. So here he is, King Logan.
Yes, hello, and welcome once again, my magnanimous and amazing fans. It is I, King Logan, and you are listening to Ring the Bell Radio, a wrestling podcast with King Logan and other people who happen to be in the studio at the time. But it's mainly about me. So there you go. Move on. Continue on.
I already told the audience what they were listening to, and you have to go and repeat me.
No one listens to you. They're like, press play, skip the first minute and a half, get to the King Logan introduction. That's how it runs.
Okay,
I've talked to people about this. They've said the same thing.
You know, you just go away.
I can't. I'm trapped in a box here.
Yeah, I know. Anyway. So we have someone.
Who's the guest?
That's what I was just trying to tell you, and then you interrupted me again. You entitled prick.
Yes, I am, and I demand.
Yeah, we know it.
I demand all your gratitude.
You kings have no power over here. You know that.
But didn't you have a King Washington?
He could have been.
Yeah. See?
You could have been. But anyway, let me introduce the guest. You're
oh my God. Why are you making the guest wait? Come on.
I am. Because suspense. Artistic suspense. But anyway, so we have someone joining us who he's coming on to just BS some wrestling with us. Okay, and I'll let him explain the podcast that he's on and what he talks about. And he has something very interesting coming up that he's going to be doing on his podcast next month. But here we are from the other side of the state, and I'm talking about Pennsylvania. Joe Panther III. What's happening, Joe?
Hello there, wrestling fans, male, female, kids, maybe grandpas or grandpas, because they like wrestling too. Yes, I'm Joe Panther III, and I am the host of the Get the Wheel internationally known Dudes at Ringside Podcast. That is me, the red glass wearing, polo wearing, black cap wearing, bald shining, blinding you, making your girlfriend want to hang out with me more than you because I got the feet that move like Jagger because them glasses are the most stylish thing in the wrestling business today. Mic drop, baby.
Please tell me your real name is Joe Panther.
It's Joe. It is Joe, but not Panther. But I wish it was Panther.
Because I'm just like, because I know when I started looking at the stuff on your podcast, I'm just like, dude, I have to ask him. I'm like, if Joe Panther's your real name and not just, I was like, that is fantastic. I was just like, I was like, that's cool. That's better than King Logan.
Got the Panther name?
Joe Panther.
Yes,
that just sounds like badass.
My grandfather was a professional wrestler in the 50s and 60s.
Oh, really?
And he was heel under Vince's dad. So he was Jose Quinones, the Panther.
Okay.
My dad, his son, it would be 2, and I'm tres, 3.
You're the third. So your pops wrestled for Vince Sr.
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Makes me get chills because he's part of that green era that you find subtly on the WWE network, but it's there, but it's not there. You know what I mean? It's like
you gotta dig for it.
Oh,
that's that stuff that it's just like, okay, yeah. Even before my time. Oh, yeah. Because when I and Logan knows this, Logan likes to stay a little more with the current product. I like to stay old school with that golden era of wrestling. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to get this out of the way now because I actually like to see wrestling. I don't do I think all the big Titantrons that are bigger than the Sears Tower and all the pyrotechnics and the lights and the fireworks, is that cool? Yes.
It's awesome.
But me, I'm so old school. I'm happy with just the little lit up WF logo and the curtain. And
or the old school. Here we go. You're going to toss me into my old school bubble again.
Yeah.
That cool that cool rainbow set that looked like a little rainbow around the entrance.
Oh yeah, that was like early 90s. Yeah.
The neon lights to giving the kids freaking cancer.
Yeah, yeah. Because Logan will hear me say this all the time. Oh my Lord, just get to the ring and wrestle. Am I actually going to see a wrestling match? And I was just like, what Logan? What was that the other night? You were saying it was a 22-minute introduction. Turn your microphone button on again, man. I can't be holding your hand the whole time.
I just didn't want to speak to you.
Oh.
Yeah. But to answer the question, anyway, it was Rock and Roman. It was like
that
a
was
whole 22-minute segment.
I didn't see it. I don't have cable. You know what I'm watching now on Peacock? I'm obsessed with it, but I stopped watching it because I got mad. I was watching the old school Survivor Series, gentlemen.
That's what we do.
Oh, I loved it. Oh,
yeah. See, what we do, we've done a bunch of review episodes on this show where SummerSlam 92, Survivor Series 93, WrestleMania 2, Logan's favorite WrestleMania 11. And we've gone through that. But, yeah, getting back to it, he said there's a 22-minute introduction. I'm just like, take all this stuff away, get to the ring. Maybe I'll see a wrestling move. But I always bring up to where the type of wrestling that I like probably wouldn't fly today because it would be considered slow in today's wrestling world. Like if you would take Jake the Snake and Andre from WrestleMania 5, they'd probably get booed out of the building today.
Oh my God. No, I'd watch the Andre the Giant special on Peacock.
Yeah.
they'd be doing what they did to him during when he was in the airport. They'd be making fun of him, calling him giant and weirdo and big head, and they'd be smearing him. I'll be like,
but then you get someone who, if you go back 30 years and watch an Undertaker match, by the way, the Undertaker is the King's favorite ever wrestler in the universe.
It's not just my favorite wrestler, he's the only wrestler. Like, I could watch WW Undertaker. Just Undertaker. Yeah.
WFU?
WWU, yeah. Just
no, WFU.
I went, just let Joe know, I went to the Undertaker One Dead Man show, and it was an hour and a half of the Undertaker sitting on a stool, drinking whiskey and just telling stories. And it was probably one of the greatest hour and a halves I've ever had in my life.
I gotta tell my twin sister about this, Sassy Chica. If you're watching this, maybe not, because you're like that. That's my fucking birthday.
Logan, you said there was the Godfather was there. No,
it was
Godwin. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
not the Godfather.
Henry Godwin was there with him. He was just sitting in the front row for the show, and Taker was like, "Get up here," and he got on. They basically polished off a bottle of Jack Daniels together. It was awesome. And the great thing is my wife is a big WWE fan as well. She went with me. And I think she loved it even more than I did. She was reveled in it. It was great. But yeah, Undertaker is my guy. He's always my guy.
Oh, he's great. Like,
you got to meet him too, Logan.
Yeah. I've met the Taker. I have my picture Comic-Con with him. Yeah, I told him I've been his fan for 30 years. He was like, "Thanks for sticking with it for so long." Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a real nice guy in real life. Super tall. Super tall. It's like crazy how tall he is. I think I came up to like the bottom part of his chest, and I'm short, but like the picture difference is like crazy in the height.
My sister would be laughing if I met her. My sister would probably be like trying not to laugh as she's taking the picture.
Yeah,
that was your wife. That was your wife. That was Mandy, your wife. She was like, Didn't she force herself way into the picture?
Yeah. It was meant to be me and the Taker, and she was like, I'm involved in this now. So yeah, she got in it. Yeah, it was crazy stuff. But yeah, no, he's a nice guy. He really is. Nice guy, funny dude, very humble, very humble.
Well, you must have lost your mind when you were a kid when Taker won the match against Hogan, but then it wasn't a fair win. You probably were like fully furious about that.
Well, here's the wacky thing, and our viewers at home probably heard me wagger on about this story, but my dad was actually an Undertaker.
Oh, wow.
In real life. So for me, watching the Undertaker, I thought that my dad like went to work and there was a wrestling ring in like the funeral home, and he beat people up. That's what I thought Undertakers did for the longest time. So every time I'd see him, it was awesome, and my father's passed away now, but he loved the Taker as well. Yeah, Taker was his favorite wrestler too, so he would have enjoyed seeing like the One Dead Man show. It'd be right up my dad's alley, but unfortunately he's not with us any longer. But I just love the Taker. He was the first time a wrestler, because really Hulk Hogan, and you got to remember the dynamics of me being from England. So Hulk Hogan, was a big thing, but it's not like he was over here. It wasn't like true Hulkamania, because he was very much an American product. And even though we can relate to it, it's still like you don't really get. England has a sense of national pride, but we don't go shout it out, so it's a very reserved thing. Like, we don't put flags in front of our homes and stuff like that. It's, you love your country, but we don't see the need to shout it from the rooftops. So, Hulk Hogan was very much that American persona, all this jazz. And so it wasn't like a big thing. So for me, the first two real people that I related with were Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, because an Ultimate Warrior interested me more because he was such a more larger than life character. You know, not to say Hogan isn't, but, you know, he was a bit more mysterious. And then when Taker came onto the scene, I was enamored by that time with the character, because it was just something so different. Just like the Warrior, not a great guy in the ring, you know, but I was enamored by the persona, the character he played. And Taker was a best of both worlds for me. It was that character and the wrestling ability. So for me, he was the all-in-one package. It just hit with me, and my dad being an Undertaker. And, you know, I just really, from that point on, he was my man. He still is my man.
Well, you were at Wembley in '92, right?
Yes, I was. I saw him come down on the hearse. That was my only pay-per-view that I've ever been to. My Uncle Mark took me to it. And it was, we were not great seats, but we were like the aisle, like a lot of rows back. But man, it was still cool as fuck. Again, there's another beat for you, JD.
Swear jar.
Yep, it was cool to see.
I think I cursed before. I'm sorry.
Oh no, dude, it's funny. You could fucking curse all you want.
Okay. Yeah,
we keep a tally.
Years ago, I would just go for it, and it would be bad. Poor JD would have to sit here and beep stuff out all the time. It would be hilarious.
You guys are sponsored?
No, but we our audience here, Joe, is very diverse in especially age range. Okay. So our youngest fan who listens to us down in Texas, I believe, is 8 years old.
Wow. Hey, buddy, what's up? Hope you enjoy.
Yeah, that's Max and his dad Rocky. They have been on our show many times. Yeah.
Can I say something, Max and little Max?
Absolutely.
Max, how you doing, big guy? I hope you're having a great day. Hope you had a good morning. Hope you had a nice thing of orange juice, a nice big thing of cereal. If you ever want to listen to an interview, watch an interview on YouTube, you can just click it, Ask Your Dad, help you type in Joe Panther Variety Show. I interview professional wrestlers, men and women, from owners to daughters of wrestlers, former stars from the Glow era, from all over the globe. So if you want to come hang out with Joe and check out his variety show, I do one about wrestling, I do one about nerd culture, and stuff like that. So variety show, come chill, come hang out with Joe.
And I think our oldest fan is what, 81?
Yeah,
something like it.
Yeah.
So we have a very, I don't want to say diverse, we have a very broad age range. So
we try and keep the language PG to keep everyone happy.
I get it.
Yeah.
A lot of people
though I don't.
I've been warned.
But you know what though? You know what though is when people listen to our shows, they said it's some of the shows, especially with Logan in the early days, it's like watching an episode of the Osbournes when it was on MTV. All you hear is every other thing is beep 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 beep, which makes it funny.
Yeah,
but I was going with this somewhere. You said you know you've interviewed professional wrestlers. There's one interview, I don't know, and I wasn't. Independence, but there's one former WWF wrestler that we spoke with. He was actually a part of our show for a while.
Oh wow.
Jim Powers, the young stallion, Jim Powers.
Oh God, yes. I actually watched a Survivor Series match with Jim Powers. I forgot what year it was, but he was still part of the Young Stallions.
Yes. So Jim Powers is a dude, we love him on the show. There's nothing but love there. He's a great wrestler, and he's a fantastic guy to talk to. But and I'm not saying anything to put him down, because this is Jim's words himself, that he would come on our show, and then the next thing you know, he's, hey, can I come on again? Can I come on again? And he was next thing what Logan, he was one of the hosts for a while.
Yeah, for like a good half a year.
Almost 6 months to a year. I can't remember offhand. But here's the fantastic thing about Jim Powers. We get on. You say hello. Hi, Jim. How you doing? You're not getting a word in for the next 45 minutes.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, you just sit back. You sit back and enjoy because it's a ride. You're going on a roller coaster ride now. It starts off with, it could be something innocuous like, yeah, I'm doing good. And then it will go into, but you know who I heard from the other day? Blah, blah, blah. I remember a time back in the late 80s when me and blah, 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 and it would go on and on. And it's amazing because he could just tell you old stories. And
I'm Mr. Old School. I eat that shit up like a corned beef sandwich on Saturday night.
So, he's a great guy to listen to. It really is.
What did he always say? Oh, I could talk the pool balls off of the pool table. I could talk the balls off of the pool table. That's what he always used to say. But dude.
Young lady from NWA. I don't know if you saw that. Christy Jade. You know who Christy Jade is?
Yes,
NWA?
I do.
Yep.
Yes.
And I just interviewed her. Such a doll, such a sweetie pie. If you watch that interview, fans, it's a good interview. She's a sweet girl. She just came back from having an injury, knee injury.
Okay.
Literally, she like talked the whole time, and I was just like, I asked a question, and she had a long questions, and I was like,
yeah, that was Jim. That's Jim. That's how Jim Powers does. Now, let me tell you something. Now that we're talking about interviewing people, and our audience knows this. And then after I bring this up, I'll let Logan explain it a little. And then I actually have a question for you, Joe Panther. I can't just call you Joe. I have to say Joe Panther.
Okay.
So, this was back in 2011. Logan was not. Oh, God. You're going to like this, Joe. Logan was not a part of our show yet. We had the late Paul Bearer on for the second time.
Oh, wow.
And just talking about, he came on and he just talking about his career and things he did with the Undertaker. And he was always would say, I got nothing to hide. You could ask me anything you want. Doesn't even have to be wrestling related. And we were doing a live show at the time where, you can call in if you want. And this yo-yo right here calls into the show. And he goes, all right, I got a question for you. Who did the Undertaker face in WrestleMania 10? And what was the fifth move he did? And where did he kick him in the 8th minute of the match? Well, guys, I got to get going. You're doing something that doesn't involve me. Bye. Just hung up on us.
Wow.
So
it wasn't that bad. Like all I asked him was, I said, like, so quiz, who did Undertaker fight in like WrestleMania, blah blah, and there was a pause, and he literally said, "Oh well, it's involving me, so I gotta go, guys. I don't know about all that." That was it. I'm like, Jesus Christ! I just got Paul Bear to put the phone down on me. It was amazing.
Yeah. And then Jim Powers called in all ticked off at Paul Bear.
Yeah, but, so pissed.
So I always to this day pull his chows. It's like, you scared off Paul Bear. But anyway.
He realized someone dinged his bell, dinged his bell to get another body in the pinnacle.
Yeah, right.
That's it.
My bad impression of Paul. Somebody ding my bell.
So I got a question, and Logan and I have brought this up on the show many times. But since we got someone like yourself, we want to ask you this question. It has to do with the WWE, AEW, and their TNA again. So we see TNA is willing to play ball with WWE nowadays. What was that? A couple years ago, the Forbidden Door was so-called opened at the Royal Rumble. Mickey James came in. They recognized her as the Impact champion. Okay. This past year, Jordan Grace, TNA champion, which
I was like, what?
I was surprised with that. And they still, and you heard McAfee and Sterling. I'm not Sterling, James Keenan. What's his name now?
Michael Cole.
No, not Michael Cole. Corey Graves. I'm sorry.
Corey Graves, yeah.
Corey Graves is from Pittsburgh, and his name when he was wrestling the Indies was Sterling James Keenan. So every once in a while that slips out. So Corey Graves, they were really pumping up Jordan Grace and recognize her as like, hey, we have the TNA Knockouts champion here at the WWE Royal Rumble. Okay, cool. Right? I mean, in this point in the age, we could all agree that's not going to hurt you working together. If you showing up on someone else's show, that's only going to help you nowadays.
Like this.
Yeah. Case in point, like this, you're willing to play ball. Why do you think Tony Khan and AEW are so against? I mean, even if it's at the Rumble, I would always say is the time to do it.
You can get me the can opener about the opening can of worms.
Yeah. So why do you think Khan and AEW are so against doing a collaboration?
You want to know why? I'm gonna get you with my Macho Man fingers are about to come out. I need my can opener. I don't need a can opener. I'm a Panther. Because he doesn't want to upset his fans that sit in their certain areas of the house with their little device, and they sit there with their device in their hand, angrily tweeting about WWE, not liking their product. But if Tony Khan got involved with them, they would be all up in arms that my precious AEW is involved with WWE, so they have to get a bigger plate to put it both on it together.
Okay.
Sorry, I had to do that, but
no, but okay. So riddle me this, and this is for anyone can answer this one. If I know you have the WWE purists, the AEW pure that will. I mean, back during the Monday Night War, I stuck with Team WWF. Yeah. It was down with WCW, and when I was in high school and all that, it was you were one or the other. You weren't both. I mean, you occasionally flip back and forth just to see what was going on, but your loyalty was somewhere. I mean, obviously nowadays, I'm like, I don't care. Okay, Edge. I don't care what organization he belongs to. The true wrestling fan will just be happy to see him wrestling somewhere. Okay, I think that's how we said it. I don't care if he's an AEW or an Impact or in WWE. Hey, if I want to get on and I'll see Edge wrestle. I don't care what organization he's with. But don't you think if you were watching a AEW Collision after dark, before dark, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Rampage, whatever their 35 different shows that they have running on network television, and you were sitting there one night and then all of a sudden you heard the game's music play and he walks out in his suit and this is you a challenge to anyone in AEW to come to WWE. Don't you think that would be a little bit like, what's going to happen here?
Oh, yeah.
Who are they going to send? Who's going to show up?
Triple H is big balls. He's bigger balls than Vince because Triple H would have done it already. If he was allowed to do it, I could see Trips doing that, showing up on the scene, just showing up during the beginning of AEW when they're Monday, they're Raw,
or whatever one of their 45 shows that they have.
I was gonna say AEW salute your shorts.
Yeah, donkey lips, ugh. Yeah.
AEW donkey lips.
AEW sponge.
I love Sponge.
No, but don't you think that? I mean, Khan. This was going a couple years ago, and Logan and I, and even when Barris is on, we've said that Khan. He's almost reminds me of like Ted Turner. He's so hell bent. He was so hell bent of destroying Vince. And Logan, what was it? I think you brought up. All he's doing is snatching up WWF guys that have been released.
Yeah.
Us fans have been down this road before, and we've seen what's happening. And we've all said, Khan's got to worry about what's going on in his own house instead of trying to put Vince McMahon out of business. Oh, Logan, am I allowed to say that name?
Yes, we can't not.
We cannot. Well, we're talking about Vince McMahon, the character now. So,
well, yeah. I have to ask people a few times. Can I say the V word, VM word?
Well, the way we've explained it is, we're either talking about, Vince McMahon or Vince McMahon, the character. If we're talking about the Vince McMahon, the real person, then we will explicitly state that, because it's obviously it's a triggering subject for people.
Yeah,
you know. But in the same respect, is you can't. I'm big into, you know, him getting his upcomings. I really am, but it's like Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit did a horrible thing, but he was still a phenomenal wrestler. So I see it as the character Chris Benoit in wrestling is who I'm talking about, the character, the person, the performer. Yeah. I'm not talking about what happened, the real life person afterwards. And he is a big part, no matter how WWE try and swing it, he is a big part of WWE legacy. You know, you can not promote him as much as you want, but the simple fact is he was world champion, what, twice? You know, so you can't just ignore him. You know, some of the greatest matches you watch him, Eddie Guerrero, fantastic examples of wrestling. Now, same thing with Vince McMahon. He's a scummy person in real life, but in the same respect, I'm still gonna talk about the character and things he was involved in.
Yeah.
Totally. That's where our little we explain it now. But what I would love to see, getting back to this Forbidden Door here, is what we said. You know, if you're gonna have crossovers or someone from your promotion come into the Rumble, because me personally, it's seeing someone from another organization just on WWE programming. You know, they're not going to win it. Of course, nowadays you never know.
Imagine
that would have been something if Grace would have won. Well, what are they going to do there? Or I think this was the Barris and I talking about this, Logan, about they do all the champions come to WrestleMania.
That was me. That was
Is that you?
My tournament of champions.
Tournament of champions with all the different organizations. We said what? NWA, TNA, AEW, and WWE.
Yeah, and then like you pick whoever's the champions in your, you know, organization. So like Reigns,
Raw,
and
SmackDown, and NXT champions. Well, they put them in a hat, and it's just like put it like in a big. Here we go. Have the matches, and whoever gets in the last round, put them in a giant elimination chamber and just have them all fuck each other up.
Done. Yeah. See? And then whoever at the win gets a big trophy, not a belt or anything.
They just put them all in an elimination chamber. Oh, fuck each other.
Just let them go nuts.
Yeah.
But give them a big trophy at the end, and you know, for that year, that organization gets to hold the trophy. That's the problem, though. And this
Super
is
Bowl.
I actually wanted to jump in when you were saying about answering your question,
right?
JD, was, you know, there's three big reasons why AEW won't do it. I mean, or WWE won't do it. They're a direct competitor. That's number one. TNA are not. TNA do not have any market share that is ever going to make WWE raise an eyebrow. So it's fine to do TNA, because you know your people aren't going over there, they're not going to leave, but it's fun that you keep your fans, you know, kind of happy with bringing in a TNA wrestler here and there at the Rumble. Maybe AEW is a direct competitor, they're not going to do it.
It gives more creed to TNA, though.
Yeah, it gives more credence to TNA, but TNA are not going to turn around tomorrow and get 60% market share.
But they wanted AEW. No, I'm not disagreeing you. I'm just looking at
they're small. They're small enough.
AEW, but they're small enough. But at the same time, WWE is willing to recognize them.
Yeah, and it
legitimizes them. But they're not going to do that to AEW, which means they're an illegitimate midget child.
But I mean, I think
with Hornswoggle.
I think the other thing is one of the things you said about Edge was, you know, a true wrestling fan will be happy wherever he goes that he's wrestling. But here's the problem with that, okay? As people, we're community-based people, and that even extends into things that we love. Here's a prime example for you, okay? So you watch a soap opera, all right? Let's call it wrestling soap opera. You watch it, and then there's another soap opera which is now a hospital scene. Okay, so your main guy from your first soap opera leaves and goes to the hospital one. Are you immediately going to stop watching the first one and just watch him on the other one now? No, you're not. You're going to say, okay, bye, because you're invested in the community product, not the individual people.
That's nowadays, though. But
Back
if you
in
want
the
to
old
get
days,
if you want to get into the wrestling, though,
yeah, back in
how
the
many
old
people
days,
stopped watching WWF because all their guys went over to
WCW? Yeah.
But
oh yeah,
I know
and
a
vice
lot of
versa.
people that I was watching something they called the WWE back when they had Raw, the first few things of Raw, they called that the cartoon era.
Yeah.
WWE.
No, I know what you're talking
But
about.
the characters like the moose, the buffalo guy,
Mantar,
Mantar, and what's his face that was the one what's his name? He was on the first Raw with he faced the Undertaker.
Damien Demento.
Ding ding ding. Damien Demento.
Or our favorite, what was he last week?
With the makeup, yes.
Yeah. Who was he? What was his name?
He had the cards.
Fantasio.
There you go. Yeah,
better than the juicer. Below the juicer.
No, the juicer's legendary. Don't mock the juicer. That man went on to do everything. Plus,
but anyway, no, Fantasio though.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, and I totally get what you're saying. It's wrestlers with jobs era. You know, you go out rest people in the day, and in the evening you go wrestle at night. Repo Man, you go Repo.
Oh my God, the Repo Man made me laugh so hard.
I like that character for some reason, and you know what? I remember Repo Man. I remember when he would start, and you know that was what 92 or something like that. Repo Man came around. I don't remember the exact. I knew it was like 92, 93, but I remember seeing him on Primetime Wrestling, and it would be, that was Smash.
Yep,
and my
nobody
dad goes,
knew that. I said that one time, and somebody looked at me like they just accidentally sharted in their pants. They're like,
and my dad went, "How do you know that?" And I went, "Tattoo on his arm." And I was only about 10, 11 years old. I went, "The tattoo on his arm. That's Smash." It was, because he had that weird eagle, or not an eagle, or something on his arm that I went, "Yeah, that's Smash."
I kind of felt it weird when they added Crush. Would you feel a little jilted when they added Crush to the Demolition?
I remember thinking it was interesting, but and it was it at the time. I've never seen that before, and I did not really know about the Freebirds.
Me neither.
At that time, okay, it wasn't until later. This is going to sound weird. Later in the early 90s, I started learning about the Fabulous Freebird and how there would be 3, 4 of them or something like that, But at the time, I thought, this is, as a little kid, this is cool. I've never seen 3 people in a tag team before. And the concept is they were tag team champs, but sometimes you'd have Axe and Crush. Sometimes you'd have Smash and Crush, Axe and Smash coming down with the belts. I mean, it was interesting, but I never really had a problem with Crush.
I never found it weird. I kind of found it weird that he was part of Demolition.
But it was one of those where you started seeing less. Axe was around, and you started seeing less of him wrestle. Like my dad would always go, "Oh, I wonder if he's hurt or he's on his way out or something like that." Well, my dad was the kind of guy that if he'd see someone bleeding, and I get why he was saying this now, he'd be like, "Oh, I guess he had the blood capsule when he bit it."
Yeah.
Not knowing, you look back now, oh no, he had a gash in his lip and he was profusely bleeding, but when you're a little kid, you don't want to, get it. But anyway, but I thought it was cool, and then I don't think Demolition lasted too long.
Yeah, they got in that weird rival. It's like someone gave them the acid tablet, and they went, and they died.
Yeah. And then they started wearing those like
Legion of Doom faced him in that rivalry, that short-lived rivalry they had.
Yeah.
And it's Vince goes, "Here, eat this tablet." And they just evaporated at him.
Yeah. Now, what Logan was saying about different, you know, are you going to follow a different wrestler if he goes to a different program or something? I'll tell you one wrestler of the past, Logan, that he had a following, and they would, whether he would go to WCW, WWE, NWA, Crockett, AWA, the Logan Wrestling Federation, whatever, he would have a following, or WWX.
JPJ the promotion.
The JPJ the promotion, yeah.
JP3 Wrestling.
And I'm going to tell you who he is, though. Let me tell you about Barry Windham, the Widowmaker. This is the American dream coming to tell Barry Windham, the Widowmaker. I told you about the bull that can't be rode, and he's going to make your wife a widow. And you know who I'm talking about there, Logan.
Dusty Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes.
Uh-oh.
Don't
get
doll,
he's starting coming after you, man. King, they may come after the show.
Yep.
Speaking of which, Logan, I got something I'm going to play again, and I didn't want to do it this early, but since we have our guest on, I'm going to play it. You know how last week we listened to a prank call that someone did with Dusty Rhodes?
Yes.
Or someone. I found out I was wrong. I thought it was Dusty Rhodes sound bites, but it was someone who really impersonates Dusty Rhodes really well. Okay, Joe.
Wait, is it the same dude?
It's the same guy.
I'm gonna have to mute my microphone.
Okay,
because last week I fell off my chair.
So we go through, and every once in a while, we would listen to prank calls from WWE prank calls. Whether they have an impersonator or someone sitting there with sound bites, they call somewhere and they play all the different.
Oh my God.
Okay, so we did this last week, but we were like, heck with it. We got Joe coming on. We got a guest coming on. We're gonna play this just to get a laugh out of it. Okay.
Okay.
So this is gonna be Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes is calling Ric Flair, but it's not actually Ric Flair. He's calling people that are just named Rick and acting like they're Ric Flair. If that makes sense.
Oh God.
Okay, so there's a couple of them here. We're gonna play. Let me bring it up on the monitor here.
Monitor, I like that.
Okay, we're gonna do this, do that. If Logan allows me to do it, there we go. So this is the funniest thing we'll watch all day, or you're gonna hear all day. Are you ready for some Dusty Rhodes prank calls to Ric Flair?
I can't wait.
All right, here we go. Let me, if I can hit the play button.
Subscribed to them yet? I was subscribed.
Yeah, man, subscribe, dude.
Nice. See,
you're using
that subscribe to
man.
Me yet?
Come on.
The what?
This is Redneckazilla. Good old Jeff with. I can't see the rest of it. But
I subscribed to him through my personal one. I didn't do it through our show podcast.
Oh, okay. Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna play it here. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah, it's Rick there, please.
Yes, it is.
There have been many times you and I have gone round and round, and we've bled the same blood in the same muds. But this time it's all about business, Jack.
Let's do it.
You and I, Friday night, Daddy, at the Fulton County Stadium. The Great American Bear. Dusty rides on the edge of a lightning bolt with a silver saddle, Daddy. Now you come on down there with your limousine and your horsemen. Bring your A-game.
I love it.
Yeah, it's Rick there, please.
This is.
It's time for you to meet your maker in the American Dream. Dusty Rhodes is up for the challenge.
I think the American Dream's barking up the wrong tree.
We'll see if your blood is as red as mine, Mr. Flares.
We will find out indeed, sir.
That's right, find it out in Flint. You a yellow dog. You hung your phone up on me.
May I take a message?
Yes. Tell him this is Big Dust, the American Dream.
Big Dust, the American Dream?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a friend of his?
More of a nemesis, I guess you could say.
Are you Bob Klepak's friend?
I do not know who this Klepak fella is. All I know is that the other night, when Rick hit me from behind, I thought what a line was drawn, and now Friday night at Starcade, myself. Hey, where did you go, baby doll? That bicycle! He's got a bicycle!
That was it.
It's too. I just love the music kicks in.
Yeah, it's just like you can hear it in the background, like
just great.
Oh man.
Oh, I don't know if you ever heard me do this on random podcasts. I'll give these young wrestlers that know about the 90s. People have told me I sound and I look like the Fink. Like I'll take off the glasses so fans can't see me.
I could see how you look like the Fink.
Yeah, I could go with it.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, my buddy, I'm gonna say now, Balor Club guy is one of my buddies. He's from PA, and I call him. He gets mad. I call him a ringside collectible. He's always by the ringside. He always gets spotted on the WWE cameras. We were walking through our old job, shot through the wall fart, and we're walking through electronics, and I try to scrum my voice, and we got about to turn to go to the back of wall fart, and I just belted out a Howard Finkel. I was like, coming down the aisle, weighing 100 pounds, soaking wet, from Port Jervis, New York, Jay Beans on the scene. And he just went, Joe, man, you just got me chills, man. You had to do it, man. You gave me the moment, man. I felt like I was about to go. But then you said 100 pounds soaking wet, and I was like, no, I got booed. I heard the fans laughing at me. You Spike Dudley'd me, man, but I still got the Howard. You gave me a Howard Finkel, Joe. Thank you, man. But
I love it.
Yep.
Oh, man.
So if you want me to do an announcement for your show right now.
Oh, okay. We might have to do that there in the near future.
The one of the most embarrassing things though is I'll be out shopping with my wife and her phone will go off. And it's Cody Rhodes' entrance theme, Kingdom.
Which one?
The original? Kingdom. The original, yeah. So
I use it as my song.
Yeah, the way you got that.
But you guys know which part I use. That says my father when I was younger.
Yep.
People are like, why do you use that hook? I'm like, because I'm talking about my dad. Because my dad told me when I was younger about my family tree, and I go like this. He did. Because literally, I stopped writing it because of COVID. I wrote a story about me, about my family, about my grandfather. Originally, it was just me talking, and then I found a way to go. I put my grandfather in the beginning of the story, him going to his locker for the last time, untying his mask, and then my dad and his brother walk in the story, and then he says blah 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 about wrestling being fake, and he freaked out on the kids going.
Don't even get me started about when someone goes wrestling is fake. Logan will tell you that.
My grandfather literally. I have a story. I have a story. I don't know if I want me to tell you now about my grandfather. One story about Kozak.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it, man. Tell us.
He
the
was
story.
at a club with my cousin, and there was a boxer there.
Ooh.
And the boxer looked over at my grandfather because he's not a little guy. I'm like 5'1". My grandfather was like 6 something. Big, chunky, old school wrestler. He was a lucha. And the boxer said something in the front about wrestling being fake. My cousin looked and said, "Oh, Joe, don't." He took my grandfather 2 seconds to take that big boy down. Took him down, swooped him under the table.
Nice.
Yeah.
You don't mess with them dudes, dude. You don't mess with wrestlers. I'm sorry.
And this is the golden era wrestlers. He wasn't like these days. They're like, ugh. He was like chubby buff. So it was just like he had my grandfather had a gut and he was a big guy. Not like
look at Gorilla. Look at Gorilla Monsoon, dude. But he was tough.
He was like, my grandfather was a little bit bigger than Gorilla.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Well, that's like I always tell people, and I know Logan gets tired every time I say this is, I used to work for a pro wrestler.
No.
Okay, and here's a plug for myself. Logan, you ready? Now, I used to work for Kurt Angle.
Oh, wow.
Down here in Pittsburgh.
The
one, the only. Okay, when he was back in 2010, 2011, when he was working for TNA and he was trying to for real retire the first time. He was trying to start his own business of like nutritious meals and supplements, stuff like that, right? So he had a little shop downtown, and I was working like marketing and graphics for him. And when he would be in town and he would come down to the office, and you would just see him walking and how much pain he was in.
Mm.
Oh yeah, wrestling's fake.
Mm.
And you know what I mean by that. You know, you
Yeah.
would really start, if you were one of those believers, you would really start thinking again when you saw him going, wrestling's fake, tell that to my back, tell that to my hip, tell that to my neck, tell that to my knees.
Yep.
And he would always say this, and I would too. I'm like, yes, they know what they're doing. If they didn't, there's an art form to it. I get that. If they didn't know and be like what they were doing, they would kill themselves. You know, and we know those mats, there's not a lot of padding.
No, I talk wrestle all the time.
People think it's
like
springy and
that's like
soft
wood.
and-
That's like
Yeah.
wood right
You
under
got
there.
about this much padding. And I'm like, listen, they know what they're doing. They know how to land properly so they don't break their backs. They don't kill themselves. But I was like, their bodies are still absorbing that suplex off the top rope, that body slam, that going into the turnbuckles. You know, I'm like, there's a reason these guys are. Look at Hulk Hogan. He can't do the leg drop anymore. For 30 years of doing the leg drop, he has 2 new hips, 2 new knees. You know, he could barely walk. You know, so oh yeah, it's real fake. A lot of times I'll be over Logan's house. We'll see something. Some guy will get hit with a chair and he's gashed open, and one of us will look at each other and be like, "Remember, that's fake, though."
Mm-hmm.
That fake chair.
I wish you guys can come do a show with me one day. It'd be kind of fun to hang out.
Dude,
Yeah.
come down this end.
I go to I'm going to can I name drop a show right now?
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead,
I am
bro.
going to you'll be seeing this 3rd generation person with his I almost said Dusty Rhodes. My voice went into watching that freaking thing.
Dream Dusty Rhodes.
I will be with number 2, Panther number 2 in Slatington, Pennsylvania. Damn it, you did it. I'm gonna do my Howard Fingerlet. You will see Joe Panther II and Joe Panther III in Slatington, Pennsylvania on April 20th, 420, in the Expo Center. Get your tickets now. It's their super show.
$10 buys the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
And there's a ladder match that night.
Ooh, fun.
Yes, there's a ladder match.
Where's Slater from us?
Slatington, Pennsylvania is a little bit past before Allentown, I want to say.
I was gonna say, is it up
It's not
like
too far,
Allentown?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
the other side of the state.
PPW is they bring, if you can't make it, guys, if you have Fight TV, you could watch it on Fight.
Nice.
Yes,
Right.
they're on Fight TV. Paul Bowe is one of the promoters, one of the owners of the promotion. They have Danny Moe as their women's champion right now. My gosh, they have a trios championship belt right now. They just got trios titles. Only good thing is WCW. Am I right? That was a WCW thing back in the day for a while. They had trios titles, right?
Why do I want to say
WCW?
yes? Hold on. Let's run down this. WCW titles.
World title,
World
TV
title,
title,
TV
US
title,
cruiserweight title,
cruiserweight.
tag time titles.
No, wait a
It's
minute.
like-
They had
Yeah.
the television title for a while.
I missed that belt.
Well, they did TV title when it was still WCW NWA. Remember that? Like it was World Championship Wrestling, but they were under the NWA thing. That was like when the original Four Horsemen started. It was World Championship Wrestling, but it was still NWA. Because I know they had TV champs, television tag team champs, and all that stuff.
I miss all that fun shit WCW did.
Yeah, I know. Like they were really out there, but
trios,
like,
tag team champions. They had the hardcore title, but did you notice their hardcore belt? They didn't have the Vince money, but they did what the ideas they had. Like go look on WWE, the video game, the women's title in WCW looked so much cooler than the WWE one. Go look at it when you get a chance. Look it up. Had a crown on it. Had a little crown on it, and it said women's champion. It's in the game. Look it up.
What did you always say WCW was?
He's not saying it. He's mad.
He must have turned the button off so I can't hear him anymore.
Sorry, I was actually looking up WCW championships.
Oh, you're actually doing something. Huh?
Yeah,
for once.
to give our actual listeners, what they need.
Okay, so you always would call WCW what?
Dollar Store WWF.
They were.
Yep.
But Dollar Store, they had their own ideas. They had those guys in the room, those nerds, as they called them.
But
Derek
you know
Joe
what,
would
though?
call them nerds.
Now, this is in hindsight, and this has been for the last, I don't know how many years, decade and a half or what now. I look back at old WCW stuff, and I'm talking when it was like, you had the Midnight Express, Bobby Eaton and Terrific Terry over there. You had the Rock and Roll Express. You had the Paul Hoffman, Tully, Ole, Arn, and Rick. That era. I guess you could still say it was during the golden era of wrestling, but it was.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, I look back and I went, "Holy shit! They had some talent on that roster."
Yeah,
you had Big Van Vader. You had Sting. You had Ric Flair. You had Ricky Steamboat. You had the Steiner Brothers, the Southern Boys, Rock and Roll Express, Sid Vicious.
Yep. And then
I'm like, yeah.
They had all the their tag team division was like the type that take it itself and do your own tag team tournament. You take away the champions and just say, okay, you all each other up for like 2 weeks on Nitro or whatever.
Paulie Dangerously. You had Doom. You know who Doom was?
Yeah. Black tag team. Yeah.
Butch Reed and Ron Simmons.
They in my head, they had Legion of Doom. That's what Legion of Doom started.
They were the Road Warriors, yeah.
Yeah, Road Warriors.
But if
who
you
would
look,
you have win that tournament? Who would win that tournament to you? For you, just in general?
Dude, I'd have to think on that one.
I have Steiners win. I love the Steiners.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just like
it would be a tough match. It would be.
They didn't have the budget to do anything, but because Vince was taking over the world, WWF was taking over the world, buying up all the territory. So you had WWF in 2/3 of the country, and then the last third was WCW down south. That was it, really, and there was a very limited audience.
It's funny, like JD saying all of this, and with my feelings on WCW. The weird thing is when I watch WCW now, it feels like NXT.
Yep.
It feels like I'm watching NXT. And I have a lot more appreciation for WCW now because of the wrestling. I was so biased as a kid about it. And it took me a long time. Honestly, it took me into like my 30s until I really started watching wrestling and worrying about the wrestling. Like, don't get me wrong, I still love storylines. I'm all about the pomp and circumstance. I want fireworks. I want cool music. I want all that stuff. Okay, but the wrestling aspect of it didn't actually come to me until much later on in life, where I could look at something and be like, wow, that's a technically hard move to do, or how can that guy land and not break his back? How can this arm bar not be applying pressure? And to work out the technical aspects of the wrestling. So for me, I look at WCW now and I see that there's some fantastic wrestlers, and we, JD, who's been a big proponent of it for years, pushing me to watch it, has picked out some good shows for us to watch, some really good matches that really highlighted the exceptional talent that was back then. But like I said, I was so brand biased in my younger days that I would have never have gone anywhere near WCW.
Another one for you guys with the television title. Would you have done a tournament for that thing too? To strip the champion. There's so many wrestlers back then were in the television division that really never got their shot for the belt. If you know that, there's a lot of good guys.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, it was. I mean, they did that because the reason I looked this up once, and I mean, depending on what source you get it from, but this was one of the theories. Is they created the television heavyweight championship basically to take some pressure off of Flair, and who had the world heavyweight, or not just Flair, but he had it at the time, to take some of the pressure off of the world heavyweight champion, like the Ric Flair or the Sting or the Ricky Steamboat. And here's the thing is, they would really like Tully Blanchard was the TV champion when he was in the Horsemen. Okay. So by putting him on TV every week, you didn't have to be worrying about what are you going to do with your world champ.
Yeah, you could save the world champ for your pay-per-view.
You could you have the world champ doing, you could let him get him out of the eye for a while, but he's still showing up. He still could show up and do a promo. He's still wrestling the house shows, but you're sort of taking some of the pressure and putting it over here on this TV champ to sort of highlight, and basically you're able to introduce a different roster, so to speak, that's going after this television title. Okay, that was one of the reasons.
Hey, let me interject here real quick. Oh, sorry.
No.
I just wanted to read out the list of the actual championships.
I've been sorrier than you my whole life.
All right, so we got the World Heavyweight title, the World Cruiserweight title, the World Light Heavyweight title, the Women's World Heavyweight title, Women's World Cruiserweight title, World Tag Team title, World Cruiserweight Tag Team title, World Six-Man Tag Team title, World Television title, World Heavyweight title under NWA, World Tag Team title, NWA, Women's title, NWA, World Television title, NWA, WCW International Heavyweight title.
Didn't know about that one.
Yeah, United
I
States
have heard
Heavyweight title and the United States Tag Team titles and the Hardcore title.
Well, you just say international tag team titles?
Yep.
No,
Heavyweight. United States Heavyweight title, United States Tag Team title, Hardcore title. The WCW International World Heavyweight title. Let's have a look now. Ric Flair was the inaugural person. Of course he was. Defeat Barry Windham.
That was Big Gold. I think that was the Big Gold belt.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
You're totally right. There's a picture of it here. Rick Rude, Heish Hiroshi, Rick Rude again, Sting, and Ric Flair again before it was retired.
Mm-hmm.
That's
because
crazy.
They had to reintroduce that belt.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Ric Flair came to WWE, he brought that belt with him.
Yeah, man. I was watching that Survivor Series when he was like, "You're gonna bleep the belt out." He was like, really angry about it.
Because when they showed up on primetime, they were showing the belt, and then eventually they had to start blurring it out. So in the meanwhile, WCW made a new belt.
Yeah, I remember the circle round one.
Yeah, they made a new championship belt. So after a few years, Rick came back, they got the belt back. They wanted to reintroduce Big Gold, but they already had another tag. At that time, it wasn't a standard procedure to change. Hey, we have a new design of a belt, like they do now every other freaking 3 months. And so they would. Well, we have to. we have to figure out a different name to reintroduce Big Gold back in. So it was the International.
I just want to real quickly give a big shout out to this website where I got the information from, and it's called wrestlingtitles.com. It literally has everything, like every title for every single country, for every wrestling like federation, and it shows you who won what, and it gives you a picture of the title itself.
Oh wow.
Like, it's crazy. Wrestling -titles.com. Really, it's very incredible for your resources, I'm telling you. Wow.
So, Joe Panther.
Yes, that's me.
You
Yeah, I have different aliases of Ghostbuster Joe, Joe Panther the Third,
Deucer Joe.
Oh my gosh. Joe the Greeter was my original alias when I had Wrestle Talk US.
So that's have something coming up. You have something coming up on your podcast.
Do I?
Next month.
My calendar. I work in a place your memory goes away. So hold on.
Yeah.
April. Oh yeah. Evil laughs. We got podcast month going on the Dudes at Ringside podcast. Yeah.
So tell us a little about what that's going to be here.
Like, April's my birthday month. April 29th, Son of the Boo. I thought, as a gift to you all, the podcast world, I'd give you all a gift on the birth of the Panther, the month of the birth of the Panther, by helping you guys get your names known all over this freaking globe, all over the country, by promoting you guys and having you tell your stories on your rise, on how you got your start and why you love this thing we love so much. As I look into my ring lights, and I shouldn't be looking into them, makes me. I'll be wearing these by the end of the year if I'm these are my alternate. I was gonna wear these. I was gonna give you my New Age Joe Panther the third ones.
Oh, okay.
The thick balls. The thick balls. Podcast month is just me helping wrestlers promote themselves, and I do it out of the kindness of my heart. I love what all you guys do. You guys are killing it out there. I'm so happy and proud to be part of this community, even though it's kind of like salty sometimes, and people think stepping on other people's toes, grabbing same guests. But I do it for the love of wrestling. I do it in the memory of my grandfather, and I just want to help you guys any way I can, by sharing your stuff, inviting you into a group like I started the podcast family.
Yep. And that's how we started chatting, I think,
Yep.
Yeah, in there, because I think you gave me a message one day. You were like, "Hey, I see you have a podcast," and I think I said, "Wait for it." Yes. And then
my God, the conversation is thrilling.
It's like I say, it's like Dave's a say or a brace.
Yes, and then this isn't exact language now. And then the next response was, "Hey, we're gonna do a podcast month. You want to do it?" And wait for it, Logan. You know what I said? Yes. Hey, I'm gonna. Or it's like, "Hey, join my podcast family group." Okay. And then the next thing you know, we're in this big chat group.
It's lots of people in that group. I don't know if you follow everybody.
No. I was looking, and we follow quite a few people in there. But I was looking at everybody, and I'm going, whoa, there's a lot of people in here.
Did you get the Simba seeing the herd coming at him face?
I have to go back and look. I mean, there's quite a few in there that us and them have followed each other already, but there's a lot that we haven't, and we went through and followed them all. So we're
except I'm in there multiple times for my other podcasts. I actually had to put the other ones in there. I was like, if I don't, then I'm sharing Dudes with Twins episodes and Ghost Head Nerd Talk episodes, and I'm like, I'll just share it from that page.
Yeah. So Logan, I would say it's been nice to having Joe Panther on. You know, just
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
I hope
It's been a while since and Logan will agree with me on this, that it's been a while since we have really just been able to sit back and just BS whatever comes up.
Yeah.
That's
It's
me.
been a long while just to sit here and see where the conversation goes. You know, you need that every once in a while.
So are you guys into movies?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm a huge nerd.
I'm also a massive nerd.
I'm a big hence the other podcast I do.
I was about to ask you about that.
Yes, when we talk about the podcast that I've actually been or show in the beginning and now podcast, then the word podcast was cool to say. I do a show, been around for 7 years. It's called now Ghost Head Nerd Talk. Well, back in the day, it was called Ghost Head Talk. It was just me talking about Ghostbusters history. And then I got a female co-host. She was just the voice, and I was just standing there like this to finish the whole show. And I did the intros and outros. And then she left because Afterlife came out. And now I have this lovely lady. She's going to laugh if she listens to this. Her name is Rain, and she's a prop maker. She's from the other side of the country. And she's a fellow Ghostbusters fan, and she's a lovely, lovely, awesome co-host. She brings the female perspective of being a Ghostbuster fan and being a cosplayer. I love working with Rain, and me and her have done some awesome interviews. We interviewed a girl named Scara from Texas. That's like the new age version of Elvira, but
nice.
You check her out. She's
cool.
super hot. Scara, that's her name. That's my Ghost Head. Dudes at Ringside, maybe my older child that has the Zach Morris attitude, but Ghost Head talks the bigger brother that's like Chet from Weird Science. He's like, don't step foot in my room. If you come in my room, I'll kick your ass. That's Ghost Head talk for you. Yep.
So what you don't know is King Logan is actually a card carrying nerd.
Oh,
yeah.
My card is so deep in my pocket. When I take it out, they go. Sorry.
So I'm gonna test your nerdiness here, okay?
Uh-oh.
And you can see if you're on my level, right? The entrance to my dining room is a TARDIS.
Yeah, that was my best friend's wedding. Doctor Who. My best friend's wedding theme was Doctor Who, and I'm a Ghostbusters fan, so everybody, all the groomsmen, they were like, Doctor. I'm like, Doctor, and my buddy was like, Randy, this has nothing to do with Ghostbusters. I was like, you said Doctor, so Doctor. I'm excited for next week, man. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire hit theaters.
Yes, me too.
I already bought my tickets because I'm going Thursday because my flight suit's already. It's like, when you have your suit ready to go to your friend's wedding or go out to the club because you see Usher playing. Yeah. I have my flight suit set to go. It's already in my closet. My business cards are in the pocket. They hand out like on the line. I even have my other Instagram. I don't know if you saw it. Baby Slimer is already in my pocket. I'm not taking. He's already sitting in the pocket, all cozied up, sleeping. But I'm not pooped in my flight suit. I swear to God. He's all cozy and ready to go, ready for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. He's sitting in there. He told me, I'm like, okay, no. Go to sleep. But yeah, I'm ready to rock. Can't wait for Frozen Empire. I'm like hoping for the best, but I've been seeing a lot of good trailers. Rain's calmed me down a few times. I'm like, no, it's gonna be good, Joe. I'm like, okay.
Melvin's in uniform. All right.
Yeah. No, you know what Rain's favorite line in that whole trailer was? Big what's it? Something in horny. Dead ahead.
Big tall. I know what you're talking about. I don't remember.
That is Rain's favorite line. She loves that line. Big and horny. But she's in a franchise.
Big, tall, and horny. That was it.
Yeah. Her franchise is one of those ones that donate to charity, and they actually have the theater. They're hosting the actual opening for the movie.
Okay.
And I'm like,
cool.
I'm part of a franchise too. I'm part of the Ghostbusters of Pike County, Pennsylvania. A small small franchise, and actually, it's kind of funny. I had a few members; they all left me. I'm the only one left. So like, and actually, I am a Sony known franchise, so they know about my franchise.
Oh
It's not just
wow!
them saying I'm a Ghostbuster, people. It's like, yeah, get the hell out of here, Joe, and stop showing us a piece of paper. No, mine actually brings a warm to my heart. I got a chance to have an item that's signed by Ivan Reitman.
Wow!
In my bedroom.
Cool.
Right now, it's behind the set. When we're done recording, I will grab it and show you. It has his autograph on it. That's what gives me, when he passed away, I sat in front of it and just stared at it for like 15 minutes, crying. And I was like, oh my God, nobody has this. I have this on my room wall. Like, dude, that's crazy.
That's awesome.
Now, before we go here, Logan's favorite action figure.
Oh,
Christ, I had that one. Isn't there multiple different versions of that Sting?
I have no idea, but this one can't move.
I hate it.
Nothing.
This was one of the reasons why I dislike WCW, because, like, unlike my Brutus the Barber Beefcake here, who has posable, and action and everything that a kid needs for his imagination, fucking Sting doesn't move. So all he could do. Yeah, all he could do is literally turn him sideways. Look, you can slam him. For another wrestler can hold him like that, or your option is you put the other wrestler on top of him. That's it.
Yeah,
that's not worthy of my imagination.
Yeah.
Imagine they somehow put a jacket on it. I think the jacket would have ripped down the middle of the back of the coat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'd like to thank Joe Panther for coming on and joining us this episode. It's been fun. It's been fun. He's pointing at us right now. Little Fonzie.
That's what I do at the end of every one of my episodes. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. This is your show, but I'll do the outro for you guys. Can I mind if I do the outro for you guys?
Go ahead.
So my question for you guys: if there was kids watching, like your friend from Texas and anybody else that's listening to this podcast, if they wanted to start a podcast and they wanted to do this because they love the business so much and they just didn't know what to turn, what kind of advice would you give them about starting something like this, that you guys have, or all three of us have?
Do you want to go first, JD?
No, you can go ahead.
Okay, my piece of advice to you would be, don't think about it too much. Like you can. It's happened to me as well. You listen to a lot of podcasts or watch a lot of YouTube videos, and then you have a good idea about something, but then you measure yourself up against these other videos that you're watching or listening to. Like, can I do something that good? Is it really worth me doing that? Just do it. Just get in front of a microphone and just ramble on about what you love, what interests you. Okay, just get in front of that microphone, hit record, and just speak your heart out and throw that out there. And you will find like-minded people who, hear that passion. Don't think about it too much. Just say what you want to say, get it out there. There's always people that are interested to hear someone's take on their favorite thing or subject or whatever. Get in front of the microphone and go for it.
I would say, sorry, I got someone trying to get into my area over here. I was about to hit him with a shillelagh. I would say, piggybacking off what Logan said, is stick with it. And you're not gonna go. It's not gonna be viral overnight. You're gonna have to work at it. Stick with it. Don't give up. Keep at it. Okay. And again, get a microphone. Piggybacking on what Logan says. Talk about what you love and just stay with it.
Brilliant. Well, I'm so happy I had a chance to come hang out with these guys. These guys are so awesome. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do, because they're doing big things and their shows are phenomenal. They talk about random stuff like I do. They're nerds. They don't want to talk about it, but they're nerds. But if you haven't had a chance, check me out on YouTube under the Joe Panther Variety Show. I have, Sassy's not doing the show anymore. I have 3 different podcasts that you would love to watch. We have the OG, the original, the 7-year vet, the Ghost Head Nerd Talk with me and my buddy Rain as we go through all Ghostbusters and all of nerd culture. And we have the one and only, the internationally known Dudes at Ringside Podcast with myself and hanging out with all these wrestlers from all over the globe and straight up from your backyard. And the one and only Backstage Melee Podcast with my buddy and yours, Sabrina, Subby herself, the backstage interview from PPW. And yeah, if you want to follow on Instagram, it's Dudes at Ringside Podcast. And Joe Panther the Third. If you want to follow me on my names, you can see all my fancy Jolie fans. Just kidding, I don't have that. That T-shirt is coming, I swear. That stupid nickname everybody gave me back in the day. I'm gonna do the Shawn Michaels pose and just put a bikini on, and you can't see it, but the logo Jolie fans in the middle. Me posing like.
There you go.
Love it.
I know that would be the hot seller, that T-shirt.
Okay. So. There you go, Joe Panther. It was a pleasure as always. So, if you like to sell, if you like to sell us, Logan, if you'd like to send us an email, it's ringthebellradio@gmail.com. Please send Logan all your hate mail. He loves it. He loves to read it. He wants to write a book about it. You know, you'll be mentioned in his life memoir. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter. I'm sorry, it's not Twitter anymore. It's X. Instagram, the TikToks. And you could also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, Amazon Music. Where else are we, Logan? YouTube. Listen Notes. Podbay. Castbox. Apples. I said Apple. iHeartRadio. But anyway, hopefully next show, the DJ Barris will be back and he could be telling us what happened. I mean, really what happened and why he's back in the hospital. So, for King Logan, Joe Panther, once again, it's been great. I'm JD. We'll see you next time. Bye.